Good afternoon. Thanks for coming out. My name is Sean, and it's my pleasure to be able to share with you the West African Kora. The Kora usually has 21 or 22 strings, sometimes up to 26, but pretty rarely. The Kora belongs to the Mandinka people, which are about one of 7 different ethnic groups in the country of Gambia, which is in northwest Africa. And that is where I went to study this instrument over the course of 3 visits within the last 10 years. So the songs that I'm going to play for you are the songs that I learned from 2 teachers that I studied with while I was there. My main teacher, his name was Moriba Kuyate, and he is the adopted son of the late Malamini Jibate, who passed away about a year after my second visit, so I got a lot of time with him too during my first 2 visits. A little bit later on the program, probably in the second set, I'm going to talk a little bit about the background and the history of the instrument, whereas the first set's mostly going to be music. And then right at the very end of the second set, I'll open up the floor for any questions that y'all might have about this. This first one is one that I wrote myself. This is called Somanda. Somanda is the Mandinka word for morning, the time of day. And I wrote this song over the course of many mornings, about 4 years ago now, when I was getting up quite early in the morning for work. And at that time, I was doing trail maintenance and construction work in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park, which is about an hour outside of my home base in Asheville, North Carolina. Thank you. This next one's called Kora. This is about a 100-year-old song that means peace. And the song was originally composed on the accordion, which I'm guessing many of you are familiar with, in the country of Guinea in West Africa, which is about 2 countries to the south of Gambia, where I studied. Thank you. The song is called Tabarra, and it's named after a person whose name was Tabarra. She lived in the eastern part of the Gambia back in the middle 1800s, and the song was dedicated to her by the village that she lived in because unanimously people believed that she was the most beautiful woman in the village, and they felt that there should be a song named after her.
hilala, hilala, Tabarra. Hilala, hilala, Tabarra. Tabarra, cosiye, Tabarra, cosiye. Tabarra, cosiye, cosiye.
Thank you. This next song is called Sarafu Sidi. Sarafu Sidi lived in Casamance, which is it's the southernmost region of the country of Senegal. So Senegal wraps itself completely around Gambia on the north side, the east side, and the south side. And it's the southern section that's called the Casamance region. Sarafu Sidi, he was the person in the region you went to if you had any concerns whatsoever, whether they be concerning relationships, work, just day-to-day life. So this song is in celebration of him. Thanks. This one's called Judah Jakare, and his full name was Jakare Bbao, and he was a village leader in his village in the central part of the Gambia. And the song is singing about just how great he was and how much appreciated he was within the community. Thank you. This one's called Malisajo. It comes from the southwest region of Mali known as Bafulabe. And it tells a tragic love story of a woman who they say fell in love with a hippopotamus.
sa Malisa Bafula be Malisajo sa Malisa Ye Malisajo sa Malisa Bafula be Malisajo sa Malisa Alinga mutafe, mutafe, alinga mutafe. Alinga mutafe, mutafe, alinga mutafe. Malisajo sa Malisa Bafula be Malisajo sa Malisa Ye Malisajo sa Malisa Bafula be Malisajo sa Malisa
Thank you. We're going to do one more, and then we're going to come back for a break, after a break. The music is very participatory in nature. If you were to see the Kora played at a wedding ceremony or a naming ceremony, which happens exactly a week after a child is born, you would see a lot of engagement between the band and the audience. So in the spirit of that, I'd like you all to help me sing this next song. It's called Tiramikan. It's one of the oldest songs in the Mandinka repertoire, dating back 800 years to the founding of the Mandinka Empire. So Tiramikan, he helps the very first emperor of the empire, whose name was Sunjata. Sunjata Keita was his full name. He helped Sunjata coordinate the efforts to gather people together to go out and form armies and then fight these battles that would help them expand their Mandinka empire. The words to this song talk about Tiramikan's experiences on the front lines of the battlefield while he was fighting. And it's a call and response, so there's two parts. So I'm going to sing the call by myself, and then together I'd like you to help me sing the response line. And the response line consists of 3 words in the Bambara language, which is native to the Bamana people who are neighboring the Mandinka, like they live in the same areas as the Mandinka people do. So the three words that you're going to say, when translated to English, they mean, the enemy was not successful at piercing Tiramikan with a sword. So, please say each of the three Bambara words after me. So first word, say, Susa. Let's try that again. Susa. Good. Let's try the second word, Rejo. Rejo. And the last word is the name of the person, the name of the song, Tiramikan. Tiramikan. Good. Now say, Susa Rejo Tiramikan. Good. And we're going to walk it through during the singing too. In fact, I'm going to sing those words to you, and I would like you to sing them right back to me. It goes, Susa Rejo Tiramikan. So, I'm going to sing it next, and then you're going to come in right after me. It goes, Susa Rejo Tiramikan. Your turn. Susa. My turn. Susa Rejo Tiramikan. A little louder. Susa Rejo Tiramikan. Even louder. Tiramikan. Good. All right. So the call lines that I'm going to sing to lead us all into that. One line basically means the enemy tried to pierce Tiramikan with a sword. Susa Rejo Tiramikan. Response, they did not succeed to pierce him. Then I'll be saying something in essence of the mother and father of Tiramikan, they're giving him their well wishes and their moral support while he's out fighting these battles. So let's try it. It goes a little faster during the song. Amuru yebang Tiramikan, Susa Rejo Tiramikan, Kelleke muru yebang Tiramikan, Susa Rejo Tiramikan, Iba Tiramikan, Ifa Tiramikan, Susa Rejo Tiramikan, Ifa Tiramikan, Iba Tiramikan, Susa Rejo Tiramikan. Very good. All right. We'll mix it with the Kora next for Tiramikan. Susa Rejo Tiramikan, Kelleke muru yebang Tiramikan, Susa Rejo Tiramikan, Iba Tiramikan, Ifa Tiramikan, Susa Rejo Tiramikan, Iba Tiramikan, Ifa Tiramikan, Susa Rejo Tiramikan. Susa Rejo Tiramikan, Kelleke muru yebang Tiramikan, Susa Rejo Tiramikan, Iba Tiramikan, Ifa Tiramikan, Susa Rejo Tiramikan, Iba Tiramikan, Ifa Tiramikan, Susa Rejo Tiramikan.
Susarejo Tiramikan, Keleke Murugi Bang Tiramikan, Susarejo Tiramikan, Iba Tiramikan, Ifa Tiramikan, Susarejo Tiramikan, Iba Tiramikan, Ifa Tiramikan, Susarejo Tiramikan. Susarejo Tiramikan, Keleke Murugi Bang Tiramikan, Susarejo Tiramikan, Iba Tiramikan, Ifa Tiramikan, Susarejo Tiramikan, Iba Tiramikan, Tiramikan, Susarejo Tiramikan.
Thank you. Welcome back for the second half. I'm going to start off with a song called Kasumaman, and this is a more modern version of a very old song called Apollo. And I've been told that Apollo is a type of fabric that sometimes gets used to make dresses for special ceremonies that women wear, sometimes at weddings and sometimes at naming ceremonies and others as well. Kasumaman.
Kasumaman, Apollo koning sumaman kasiri. Kasumaman, jombe na Apollo sumaman kasiri. Oya sumaman, Apollo koning sumaman kasiri. Kasumaman, jombe na Apollo sumaman kasiri. Apollo koning sumaman kasiri. Oya sumaman, jombe na Apollo sumaman kasiri. Kasumaman, Apollo koning sumaman kasiri. Oya sumaman, jombe na Apollo sumaman kasiri. Sumaman, Apollo koning sumaman kasiri. Sumaman, Apollo koning sumaman kasiri. Sumaman, Apollo koning sumaman kasiri. Oya sumaman, Apollo koning sumaman kasiri. Oya sumaman, Apollo koning sumaman kasiri.
Thank you. This song is called Hama Bhajata. Hama Bhajata was a king, and he lived in the Kabu region in the country of Guinea, what's now is known as Guinea-Bissau in West Africa. And the song is talking about the people, how they're all kind of coming back to him to both celebrate him and just sing his praise, essentially. Hama Bhajata.
Mori matskule, Hama Bhajata, matskule, matskule, Mori matskule, Hama Bhajata, matskule, matskule, Hama Bhajata. Amolole mama, amolole mama, sangu mujabi moro betuba. Amolole, amolole mama, amolole mama, sangu mujabi moro betuba.
Thank you. Nkuba Kelledy is the next one. I learned this song on my most recent of the 3 trips to Gambia, just this past February. Nkuba Kelledy basically means when you meet someone for the very first time, you think very nicely of them. Thanks. This is a very traditional song called Alalake. Alalake basically means God has done it. And when good work has been done, those who are responsible should be celebrated and rewarded. Alalake. Thanks. This next song is very special to me because the words to the song I learned from my teacher Moriba Kuyate's 11-year-old daughter, whose name is Bintu Kuyate. And I've never heard the song sung this way on any of the recordings that I've heard of it, or any of the musicians that I've heard play it. So it's a love song called Sumbu. And the words to the song basically mean when you're loving the one that you love the most, when you're missing the one that you love the most, you should go find them and be with them, which is interesting because they didn't actually tell that to me until the end of my trip, and I was looking forward to getting home and seeing my wife.
Yaramole Bamba Bamba Yaramole Jesus Umukela Yaramole Bamba 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 Yaramole Bamba Yaramole Jesus Umukela Ilana Yaramole Bamba Bamba Yaramole Bamba Yaramole Jesus Umukela Yaramole Bamba
Thank you. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a moment just to explain how I got into the Kora. I literally stumbled across the Kora 12 years ago, and that was because my dad invited me to a folk festival in my hometown of Olympia, Washington, which is about an hour south of Seattle. I live in Asheville, North Carolina now. And that night, there was an American Kora player like myself, born and raised in Chicago, who lived in Seattle for about 10 years. His name's Kane Mathis, and he was performing as a trio that night, Kora and djembe, which is a hand drum that sits on a wooden frame. It's about this tall off the ground, and they usually have cowskin heads just like the Kora have over the calabash. And there was a bass guitarist as well. And I just absolutely fell in love with the instrument that night. And I want to kind of tie into some of the conversation earlier, because walking in and seeing a white person play this instrument myself and falling in love with it, I even had the hesitancy to want to play. I was a bit confused at the fact that there was a white person playing. And so just out of curiosity, I went up and talked to him after the show, and I was like, is this legit? Is this okay? And he basically said, yeah, I've been over to West Africa 5 times now and studied with a family. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Didn't they have any resistance to having a white person coming over and studying their culture? And he was like, no, they didn't have any reservations whatsoever. All it took from Kane, who became my American teacher as a result of that evening, all it took from me was a phone call, kind of expressing my interests and telling him what I wanted to do with the instrument over here, and that basically opened up the door for me to come over. And that was definitely the case with me as well. So the way it worked out is that after about 1.5 years studying with Kane, he put me in touch with the two teachers, Morba and Malamini, that he had been over to study with many times before I did. And I basically just followed in his footsteps for the first trip. Flew into Banjul International Airport, which is the capital of Gambia. Morba picked me up in a yellow taxi and drove me back to Brikama, which is the city that he lived in at the time, back to the family compound. The compound is basically where a whole entire extended family of people would live. So you would have like the head of the households and his wife, sometimes multiple wives, all their kids and all their grandchildren as well. And usually each immediate family of a husband, wife, and kids, like 2, 3, or sometimes 4 kids, maybe even more, would have like 2 or 3 rooms that were clustered together, and 1 or 2 of those rooms would be covered. In the compound where I was, of these segmented wings, the first one that you would walk into would have like a couch and maybe a CD player. Some people had a TV. The next one beyond that was where you would sleep, and sometimes they would have like the mom, the dad, and 1 or 2 of the kids would sleep together on the same bed. And then the back room was outdoor, so it wasn't covered by a roof, and there was a hole in the ground, and that's where you would shower. So to do that, you went over to the tap. Not all of the compounds in the area had a tap, so the people who did have one would willingly share with the others. So you'd have to take a 2 or 3 gallon bucket over the tap and load it up and walk it over and take it to the back room and take a cup and just start cupping it in and showering yourself that way. Some people would wash their clothes back there by hand, and then they would hang a line in the back to hang it to dry. So once I got to Gambia for the first time, I was just having a bit of culture shock, and Morba just felt like had my back in just about every imaginable way possible. Not only did Morba and Malamini take 4 to 8 hours a day to work with me on the Kora, they took care of me like I was one of their own, like their son or their brother. They fed me, and in the way that they invited me in with the family as they ate, and they just had my back in every imaginable way, and I really owe a great deal to them for being able to share all of this with you, so thanks. The family that I was with, they taught me all the traditional songs, and they really taught me to improvise within it. Like every musician, they want everyone to sound a little bit different from each other. So if this person's playing the song this way, and you're learning from this person, they may show you the melody to the song, but then they want you to figure out your own improvisation. It took me a while to figure this out, but that's the way it works there. And on top of that, people write their own songs on the Kora, and they encouraged me to do that as well. So within the last 2 years, I've been doing more along those lines. This next song is one that I came up with, and it's called Smoky Mountain Sunset, and I wrote it about 2 years ago. After my wife Megan and I took a backpacking trip into the Cataloochee Valley in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park, which is only about an hour from where I live in western North Carolina. Thanks.